Okay, so um, decided to create this short video as a minor continuation, minor improvement to the bookkeeper application. So basically what I want to do right now is to have some default data so that every time I reset the database, at least for development purposes, I would have some data to work with, some initial data to work with. And I guess a better start or a good start for having some default data in the system is to create my default chart of accounts. And I'll be doing this via the seeds file. So every time I reset the database or run rake dbseed, it will create these records for my chart of accounts. And we know that the chart of accounts is connected to the accounting code model. Okay, so I have here a name, a code, and a category. Okay, as well as with the corresponding categories. Okay, as an array within the accounting code model. Okay, so I just looked for a sample chart of accounts from the internet, and I found this from accountingcoach.com, which I think is simple enough to start off with a basic chart of accounts for a small business. Okay? And probably I'll add more to it as I go along. So, okay, so I'll just copy these stuff. For example, for cash, okay, this will be a boring video, not much additions in terms of features. Okay, just a bunch of insert records. Again, I'd like to document it just to have just to see where I'm currently at. Name, and the category for this will be assets. Okay, so divide the seeds according to the assets, the different categories. Liabilities. That's a good way to kill time. It's 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon here in the Philippines, and not much to do. It's usually rest day every Sunday, so might as well do the boring stuff for this project on Sundays. Okay, so I have one for cash. Okay, so now usually when I try to research on the different chart of accounts, the code for the account title for a given record in the chart of accounts often refers to a 1 for assets, 2 for liabilities. Well, apparently here it's also 2 for equities, 3 for revenues, and 5 for expenses. Okay, we also have non-operating expenses. Okay, so we can follow this, although we can do our own convention. For example, for cash, I'd like to have the code 101, or at least for assets, 101, 102, 103, and so on and so forth. Let's just keep it simple. So here we have accounts receivable. I might not need the other codes here, so it would be a good opportunity to sort of filter and only choose the stuff that I need. Merchandise inventory. Okay, probably need that. Okay, supplies. P104. Prepaid insurance. I don't think I need prepaid insurance. Land, buildings. Not so much. Probably equipment. Okay, I'll go for equipment as my last asset. Okay, equipment. Okay, there we go. And then for liabilities, that will be things like notes payable, accounts payable, wages payable, interest payable, unearned revenues, mortgage loan payable. Okay, so I think I'll get the first 5 for my liabilities. Okay, so I have something like 201 would be notes payable. I should add a description. Yeah, I found the description of the account really useful. So maybe I'll do that as well. Okay. Let's see. Let me just finish the liabilities part. Notes payable. Oh, I didn't delete that. Liabilities. Okay, notes payable is good. Accounts payable. Okay. 202, 203. Wages payable. Interest payable. Unearned revenues. Okay, I think that's the last. And okay, let's see if this works in the meantime. Okay. If I do Rails DB reset, okay, it will rerun the database. Oops, let's see what's happening here. Okay, connection refused because I did not start my database yet. Okay, remember I'm on Docker right now, so apparently I have to restart Postgres every time I restart my computer. Okay, I don't have it running as a auto start service. Okay, so if I do Rails DB reset, it should drop the previous database and then reload it with a new one, already running the necessary seed files, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just check it out first. I did push the previous video that I did. I did push the code already into GitHub. So that's up there already. Check accounting codes. Okay, so we have our makeshift chart of accounts here. Very simple chart of accounts. And okay, before I continue any further, I guess now's a good time to put in the description. So I'll create a new migration file and I'll say add description to accounting codes. I have this as text, so I'll say description text. Okay, using that convenient Rails syntax. Let's migrate it. And in the form, I should have a section here for description. Okay, add a bit of input HTML there. Okay. What else? Maybe in the show part as well. In the show part, I can have here a paragraph that will display the description of the accounting code. Okay, but if there's no description, so we say something like if accounting code.description is present, then we display it, else we put in something like no description. Okay, and let's see, we have this as a text muted sort of string. Okay, so I have some, oops, accounting code. Okay, forgot the P there, present. Okay, so no description if there's no description included with the accounting code. Or, okay. So if I go back to my seeds file, let's add a description here. Let's copy the same description right here. Okay, so for cash, oh, it's a picture, so I can't copy it. Checking account balance, showing company records, currency, coins, checks received from customers but not yet deposited. Okay, so let's simplify it and say something like, let's see, currency, coins, checks received from customers, or simply received, not necessarily coming from customers, but not yet deposited. Okay, and then for accounts receivable, okay, amounts owed to the company for services rendered. Okay, accounts or amount owed to the company for services rendered but not yet paid for, or products sold, right? Or products sold. Okay, so I guess it would be good to also have a description for merchandise inventory, because at this point I don't know the difference between that and supplies, but I will be needing some inventory for both my operations as well as supplies. I guess inventory, okay, cost of merchandise purchased but not yet sold. Cost of merchandise purchased but not yet sold. And I guess for supplies that would be cost of supplies that have not yet been used. Okay. Cost of supplies that have not been used. Okay, and finally equipment. Let's see. Cost to acquire and prepare equipment for use by the company. Cost to acquire and prepare equipment for use by the company. Okay, for liabilities, let's see, notes payable. Amount of principal due on a formal written promise. See, I learned a little bit of accounting here as I developed such a software. Amount of principal due on a formal written promise to pay. On a formal written promise to pay. Okay, and then accounts payable will be a different thing. So accounts payable is the amount owed to suppliers who provided goods and services. Okay, amount owed to suppliers who have provided goods and services to the company but not require immediate payment in cash. Okay, then we have wages payable. I think this would refer to rent. Oh, employee hours. Okay, salary, I guess, for employees. Amount owed to employees for hours worked but not yet. Amount owed to employees for hours worked but not yet paid. Interest payable. Because most of the liabilities are a credit account. You credit to increase it. Amount owed for interest on notes payable. Amount owed for interest on notes payable, up until the date of the balance sheet. Okay, up until the date of the balance sheet. Okay, I think that will do for now. And unearned revenues, amounts serviced in advance of delivering goods and providing services. Oh, received in advance. Okay. Amount received in advance for goods and services, but not rendered or not fulfilled, right? That are provided, that are not yet provided. When the goods are delivered, okay. Okay, I think we can do away with amount received in advance for goods and services, right? Okay, so for equity, okay, of course we have capital. I think capital will do. Let's have accounting code 3 for capital. So something like 301. Just put in here capital. And this would be the initial investment. Oh no, sorry. Equity first. Category is equity. And initial investment. That would be the description. Okay, and then for revenue, service revenue. Okay, that could be one. Service revenue. Amount earned from providing services to clients, either cash or credit. From providing services to clients, either cash or credit. Okay. And finally, we have expenses. Okay, so this might be quite a lot. Okay, so start off with 501. Salaries expense. Okay, expenses incurred for work performed by employees. Okay, just keep it simple that way. Probably a few more. What else can we have for expense? Okay, wages expense. Okay, by non-salaried employees. So I guess this would be for regular employees, and then non-salaried employees for wages expense. Okay, supplies expense. Cost of supplies used up to during the accounting period. Okay, supplies expense. Definitely need that. Cost of supplies used up during the accounting period. Cost of supplies used up until during the accounting period. 504 rent expense. Okay, rent expense would refer to cost of occupying rented facilities. Cost of occupying rented facilities, right? Utilities expense. Okay, we'll definitely need that. Cost of utilities, I guess. Yep. Telephone expense. Okay, I'll just name this communication expense, so it can encompass things like text, probably internet. Although internet might fall under utilities expense. Cost of communication expenses such as phone bill and internet. Okay, probably internet, non-office internet. So for example, if I buy a prepaid card for internet in another country, then that would probably fall under communication expense. Advertising expense, maybe okay for marketing. Advertising expense. Or let's have this as marketing expense. Cost of marketing related activities. Okay. Transportation would probably be a good thing as well. So transportation. 8. Cost of transportation. Depreciation. Okay. Non-operating revenues and expenses, gains and losses. Okay, I think I might see where this is valuable. I have revenues, so let me add one more here. So service revenue as well as cost of goods sold. I know that's a thing in accounting. Let me just look at that. Cost of goods sold, chart of accounts. Is this considered revenue? Okay, so it says here that it's part of operating expenses. Oh, okay, so the cost of goods sold is if I buy something and probably sell it for a retail price, the initial cost would be the cost of goods sold. What do you refer to as actually selling? Yeah, it's under expenses. Okay, so this I could probably call this sales revenue. Okay, it's an easier term. Amount earned from sales. So cost of goods sold would probably be something like but it's an expense, something like supplies expense. No, not supplies expense. Maybe let's see some examples here. Yeah, right. Job materials, supplies, if needed. Equipment. Do I have equipment? Oh, no equipment yet. Okay, so maybe I can put that in. Equipment expense. Transportation, depreciation. Finally, equipment expenses. Okay, and then the non-operating revenues. Interest gain on sale of assets. Non-operating revenues. Maybe I should put that as a different thing. Yeah, the revenue will be business revenue, and then non-operating revenues will be a different thing. Okay, let's have that. Let's add that to our accounting code. Well, I'd like to keep it simple. I think revenue will do for now. Okay. Okay, let me see if this works first. Let's go ahead and reset our database. Okay, reset the entire database table, load the seed file. Whoops. Guess we have an error. Code has already been taken. Which code? Which code? Which code? Okay. Line 169. Okay. Equipment expense 510. Right. Let's try this again. All right. Let's start our server. And check out our chart of accounts. Okay, sorry. Let's see. Okay, there we have it. Okay, nice. Maybe it would be better if I had this ordered. Okay, it's already ordered by code. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so let's see if the description kicks in. All right, there we go. Okay. Okay, good. I guess that's it for our chart of accounts. Very short update just to pass the time, so that every time I want to reset something, I want to do some tests and reset or test out the functionality of my application, I can drop everything and have some default chart of accounts to play with, as represented by accounting codes. Okay, okay, I guess that's it for this short video. And then I'll try to do the balance sheet next, because now that I have the different sections of my chart of accounts, okay, we could be able to see a set of or rather the initial format of the balance sheet, how we might go about creating it. We probably need a data model design for that. Okay, something to think about during the spare time. Okay, so that's it for this short video for updating Bookkeeper.